Good afternoon. It's a fall-like day in August, and today I am going to do a hike at Alameda Park. Believe ya, welcome mat trail. These are actually multi-purpose trails, so they're not only for hikers, but mountain bikers use them too. So this is the welcome mat trail at Alameda Park. Nice little scenic bridge. Shouldn't be too buggy today, which is a good thing. Temperature is about 65 degrees. Dew point's 47. And there's a little bit of an elevation. There's plenty of mountain bike trails here. So if mountain biking is your thing, this is the place to come. I'm just not a big fan of mountain biking. I'm gonna stick to the rails, the trails. Whenever I was little, I used to ride to the woods, and I tried it at least, but it just isn't for me. And you can hear the faint sound of traffic from Route 422. And there's some mushrooms. It's not a hike without seeing mushrooms. Because of the cold temperatures, the water park is closed. And Alameda Park is where Butler comes to play. My usual spiel, you want to watch out for exposed roots and rocks. So as usual, wear proper footwear. And of course, after any hike, check yourself for ticks. And here's a switchback coming up. There's some old logs, and they serve as nurse logs. You can see where the vegetation is growing up beside them. So new seedlings take advantage of the nutrients around these nurse logs. This is a lovely day to hike. There's a little descent. Wow, it's a huge split, shaped like a V. See all kinds of shapes and sizes in nature. I remember when my son was a year old, I'll say about 13 months old, I pushed him here in his stroller. He just loved it. It was a challenge with the stroller, but he kept saying, Dada, everything. For example, like the tree, he would point and say, Dada. The weed, Dada. The path, Dada. Now he's an adult. Hard to believe. Time flies. Alameda Park is located in Butler Township. In one of my earlier videos, I did the history of Alameda Park. And I will go ahead and put those at the end of the video, so be sure to check them out. But that was a snake, but it's not. That little hole almost looks like you'd see little gnomes or little fairy tale creatures coming out of it, like Smurfs. Just looks like a home for gnomes. Okay, we got a split. So this is probably going to take you back to the welcome mat. This one's Dirty Laundry, so let me see where this one goes. All these trails have unique names. Lots of ferns. And there's the May apples. No, those aren't May apples. Not sure what they are. I think the May apples are done for the year. Because I know May apples, they're spotted like that. This was part of the trail at one time. Nice bench. Great place to take a break. And this bench is dedicated in memory of Scoutmaster Jim Reddick by Boy Scout Troop 20, quote. Both my kids were in Scouts. My son Boy Scouts and my daughter Girl Scouts. They loved it. They learned so many valuable skills. In fact, my daughter learned water safety skills. And one of them was never ever put those blow up water wings on your child, because the child and you as the parent become overly confident, and a child could easily slip out of those water wings and end up underwater. It just takes a second for your kid to go under. And even if they do fall in and are properly rescued, they can develop what is called dry drowning. I know I fell in whenever I was 5. I was on vacation in Hershey with my family, and I fell into a jacuzzi tub. Scariest moment of my life. I remember my dad pulling me out. And for a few years, I was terrified of water. But at 8 years old, I overcame my fear, and I'm like, I'm going to learn to swim. 10 years old, I took lessons, and that's where I learned to swim, at Silverside Pool in Shakora. Pool is no longer there. Whenever my kids were real little, I invested in swim lessons here at Alameda Park. I did the private ones, and that way they got the one-on-one instruction. I didn't care how much it cost. I wanted them to learn how to swim. Because there's been a few times where I had used that skill, or else I would have drowned. And if you're doing water sports, make sure you know you're a strong swimmer. I tried paddle boarding on Monday, and I fell off 3 times, and one of the times I fell off in 20 feet of water. So that's why it's so important to know how to swim, and wear your life jacket too. Another thing that drives me nuts is when people say, oh, we can swim a little bit. But then you ask, okay, let's see you jump into 8 feet of water, and they're like, oh no, I don't feel like doing it. I don't want to get my head wet. You can either swim or you can't. Okay, rainbows and unicorns. Ooh. Which way do I want to go? Maybe I'll go this way, go to the left. Beautiful how the sunlight comes through the trees. Oh my gosh, is that a big mushroom up there? I'm gonna check it out. Wow. I was at Hell's Hollow Trail on Monday before I went paddleboarding, and there were so many mushrooms along that trail, and that is at McConnell's Mill State Park. Wow, look at that. Nice specimen. I'm also keeping my eye open for chicken of the woods. You'll know it when you see it. It's big and orange and it looks like chicken feathers. And a lot of people harvest it and then they saute it in butter. But I'm not a mushroom person. I just don't like the texture of them. Nice babbling brook. Here's a little bit of elevation. Ouch, got bit. Oh, itchy. Cool, more fungus. Looks like this area washes out a lot. We're going to put these concrete slabs in. Sweet. Did you know the study of mushrooms is called mycology? They even have a mycology club at the senior high. If that was around whenever I was in the senior high in the early 90s, I would have definitely joined that club. Just wondering if they do field trips, like outdoor hikes. air is so refreshing. The humidity was starting to get old. I guess Central Florida decided to take their weather back. Whenever I step out of the airport in Orlando, the heat just hits me. It's like walking into an oven. Walk outside, you hear whistles blowing, horns beeping, you see the palm trees, and you feel the heat. And Orlando International Airport is the 7th busiest airport in the United States. And that's partially because of a mouse. Mickey Mouse. So people travel from all over the world to experience Disney World. I've never been there, and I just never had a desire to go there. It's expensive, hot, crowded, and some people love it, not me. It's not for everybody. It's the happiest place on earth, and it's also one of the most expensive places on earth. But everybody has their own idea of fun, so I'm not making fun of anybody who saves up for Disney. Personally, it's not my cup of tea. But if you like it, go for it. Make the memories. When you hear me talk about Central Florida heat, I know what I'm talking about because I've been there twice during the summer. And that heat's oppressive. And I guess eventually you get used to it. And the night never really cools off. The low's about 79, 80 degrees. So you don't get that cold dew that lays. Taking my time. This looks like this could be slick. Here we go, we got some elevation. Just enough to get that heart pumping. Got Rainbow and Unicorns and Lombard Street. Yes, I've been on Lombard Street. That's one of the most crooked streets in San Francisco. So I'm going to assume that this trail is very crooked and windy. Got McJaggers. So I'm assuming there's a lot of thorn bushes, or the fancy term, multifloral rose. I'm also thinking of the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger. It's just so dark and creepy. It almost looks like the trees you see at Lori Wilson Park in Cocoa Beach, Florida. And there's a bunch of these similar looking trees in Cape Canaveral near the Jetty Park. do know there's several miles of mountain bike trails like this throughout the park. Already some of the ferns are starting to die off. There's a beautiful oak tree. Another public service announcement. Watch when you lean on oak trees because copperheads camouflage into them, especially a year with cicadas. So just watch out if you lean on an oak tree. And there's a myth. If you smell cucumbers, that means copperheads are nearby. Well, I learned that that's just a myth. Just use caution. Don't aggravate them. Don't try to pick them up. There used to be a show in the early 2000s called The Jeff Coren Experience. He was a herpetologist, and he was on Animal Planet. Interesting guy, very entertaining. But leave the handling of snakes to people like Jeff Coren. Leave it to the professionals. I remember in 6th grade science learning about how to tell if a snake is venomous or non-venomous. The way to do it is to look at its eyes. If it has round eyes, it's non-venomous. And if it has like squinted eyes, that means it's venomous. Reduction pond. There's the reduction pond. Here's where I started, and I hiked in a giant loop. Here's a look at the reduction pond. I hope you enjoyed this video. By all means, give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy the content of my videos, please subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a great day.